Alright, so it's a new day here. Previously, I had taken the radiator out and everything, else associated with that. So now I'm down here, basically, just have an engine sitting here in the engine bay. Nice access to everything down here. So, done a little bit of poking and prodding and looking around down here. So number one thing I'm going to take care of while I have access to everything you see is the crank pulley here. So I guess the 94 and 95 Legends, maybe the 93, I can't remember. They came with this crank pulley that's like a multi-piece. I don't know if it's like 3 pieces or 2 pieces or what, but so I guess it's got an inner piece, a piece of rubber in here, and then the outer metal. And that piece of rubber is supposed to help with vibrations and stuff, but I guess these tend to come apart a lot, and it's pretty much recommended by a lot of folks to replace it with the 91, 92, or possibly 93 crank pulleys. It's a single piece. So I want to do that while I've got access. In order to do that, I've got to take out this engine sort of cradle, I guess you'd call it engine cradle piece. So there's two bolts in the back, here and here. I think maybe a 14 millimeter. And then there's this engine mount right here that has actually bolts that come up from the bottom side. So these nuts that you see on the top, those are actually welded to the mount, so you cannot undo those nuts. You need to go underneath the car and get the bolts out. There's one in the front and I believe 2 in the back here. So I'm going to do that and try to get this crank pulley off. I hear that's a pain in the butt sometimes, so we'll see what happens. I'll put all that sort of back together, but leave this mount unbolted so I can rest the engine back down temporarily. And then I'm going to be replacing these front engine mounts. Let's see. There's some front engine mount here. And here. Both of my mounts are in terrible condition. Didn't even realize it, really. Let's see if I can get a light down here and you guys be able to see. Yeah, I think you can see all the way through that mount. So yeah, I'm gonna get some polyurethane filled mounts from the Alan Jackson. Great guy. Definitely always has good selection of parts. That's also where I got the solid crank pulley from. So I'm going to do that while I'm down here, and basically anything else that I see. I think I'm going to paint. I'm going to put a coat of paint on this black piece down here. It's kind of showing a little bit of rust and wear and tear, just from being so old. So why not paint it? Clean up what I can reach. And yeah, so this next little bit I'm just going to film and work. Alright, so for this next little bit I'm just going to put it on a little time lapse. But basically, to get this pulley off, first thing I need to do is remove 3 belts that are going around it. So one's the alternator belt, one's the AC compressor belt, one's the power steering pump belt. So I've done the alternator before. That's not too bad. There's 14 millimeter down here at the bottom. You just loosen up a little bit. Then you take out this tensioner bolt assembly, pull that out, and then the alternator is loose, and you can pull this belt off. There's a tensioner here that looks like should make getting the AC belt off fairly easy. And then I've got to figure out what to do for the power steering. I have never messed with the power steering pump on these cars, so a little bit of research might be involved. But anyways, I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to try to loosen up this center section of this engine cradle and the mount, the 3 bolts from underneath that I was talking about before. Alright, so I'm having to chop this video up a little bit, waiting on some different parts and things to come in so that I can finish up this project. Anyways, I just got this tap. It's a M6 by 1.0 tap to thread holes, you know. And so the reason I got this is because, like I discovered earlier, I guess the bolt that was in this hole had previously broken. I had to drill it out. So there's no threads in here right now that I can grab onto. This side over here is an M6 by 1.0. So I bought this. It's in a set with a drill bit here. And so basically what I've done, you know, I'm trying to match this side to that side. So what I've done so far is I checked the drill bit fits directly into there, and this I was able to basically just hand thread down into this hole and verify that it's the right size threads. So I've come over here, put a little bit of oil in here, and I have drilled that hole out. And so now I'm gonna, I don't know, give this a shot. I've never really done this before. So it's an experiment. Maybe I should get a little bit bigger drill bit out and flush up that front edge. So, I'll be right back. So I'm not trying to drill that hole out all the way. I'm just trying to smooth out that top part of the hole. So hopefully this can get a little bit better grip down in there. Spray some cleaner down there. Oil. Basically, you're supposed to, you know, kind of give it a half a turn forward, quarter turn back, half a turn forward, quarter turn back. And this should hopefully be cutting some new threads down in this hole. Either that or it's just reaming it out, so just a bigger hole. I guess we'll find out. So I spin that back. You see that's nice and free spinning. It feels good. Bring it to here, it gets a little bit tight. And then here it gets a lot tighter. So cutting, I'm going back where it's loose. Cutting that hole a little deeper now. And going back where it's loose. So it seems to be working. Let's see the bottom side here what's going on. Well, we got a lot of shavings. Alright, so I can thread that all the way in by hand. So that means that the threads are pretty clean. And I'm not feeling any spots where it's really sticking at all. That's come out pretty clean. I can see what looks like threads in there. So let's give it a shot. Oh, this is the one of the OEM. This is the OEM bolt that came out of this side. Threads in there perfectly. Now let's check this side. I believe this is gonna work. I can get that all the way down. Oh yeah, perfect. See, people should just fix the car correctly the first time instead of drilling a completely separate hole for a damn self-tapping sheet metal screw. Someone did that. All I had to do was fix the hole, just like I just did. Simple. And I'm glad I figured out how to do that, or learned how to do it, because I know underneath the car, where that lower splash shield bolts in along the front, there's a couple screws under there that I know have rusted in the hole. So I'm going to use the same method and re-tap those holes as well. That's going to be awesome. All right, so I'll be back later with another update. Waiting on the 2 engine mounts to get here, and then tomorrow is going to be, my plan is at least, is that center section. Removing that center section, changing out the main pulley, the crankshaft pulley, and cleaning up a little bit down in there. So, see you tomorrow. All right, so it's another day. not filming every part of this because, well, honestly, it's a little bit boring to watch, and we've also got some laundry going on in the laundry machine, so didn't want that noise in the background either in the video. But anyways, today what we're working on is taking out this center piece of this cross beam for the engine mount, and then this center engine mount itself. So all that's going to come out as a unit to be able to access the crank pulley, the bolt, and to be able to pull the pulley off itself. So anyways, what you do is you go down underneath, and underneath there are 3 bolts holding on the bottom side of so one goes here. Sorry about that light. So one comes in from the bottom right there, and then there's 2 more on the back side back here coming up from the bottom. So you take those out like I did, and then you put a jack, floor jack, a piece of wood up underneath the oil pan there, and you lift up a little bit, and then you just you're taking the pressure off of this mount here, taking the weight off of it, and then there's 4 of these bolts that come out from the back side here. Honestly, without all these pulleys and things taken off, you probably wouldn't be able to get to these bolts. So I'd recommend just going ahead and taking all the belts off of all the pulleys. That way you can kind of get access down in here. I even had to move the tensioner pulley around to get a socket wrench on the back, and even then with the socket wrench I could only loosen it just a little bit, and then the rest of it was with a regular crescent wrench, or just a regular old wrench. So anyways, I got those taken out, 4 of those. I think all those bolts, the 7 I just talked about, are all 14 millimeter. But once you have everything out, basically, this whole center piece with the mount, it all comes out. So I'm going to take a look at the mount here and see what it looks like. Maybe consider replacing that while I've got it all taken apart. I'm going to paint this black metal. I'm going to paint that to prevent more rust, and then I'm also going to clean up and paint this cross member down here as well. So I'll update y'all in a little while. Alright, so next on the to-do list, now that I've got that center section out and the center mount out, is actually removing the pulley itself. Finally done all this work, I can finally remove the pulley. So first thing I tried off camera, I went and got my pneumatic impact gun, 1/2-inch drive, and got my 19 millimeter socket here, and put that on, and man, I hit that center bolt for a while, and this thing could not bust it off. So anyways, I went online and I started doing some research, and I saw multiple recommendations. The first one being from the Mr. Alex Alprovich. Recommended, basically this is a special tool it's made for the 19 millimeter crankshaft bolts on Hondas and Acuras. So basically this is really heavy. You guys can see the difference here just in the mass. This thing's heavy. It's like probably a pound. just by itself. So anyways, the recommendation was to get this and use it on the impact driver, and it would spin that bolt right out. So I did that. This just came in the mail. I walked down here, I put it on that bolt, and I hit the impact driver for about, I don't know, 5 seconds, and boop, came loose right away. So super good investment. This would be the way I recommend to get that bolt off, especially if you already have everything disconnected. I guess if you still have the battery in there and everything's in there, there's a way that you can wedge a wrench in there and then turn the key and use the starter on the engine to break it free. But aside from that, this is the recommended way to go. I went on Amazon and just looked for Honda Acura 19 millimeter crankshaft bolt socket or something like that, and you'll be able to find it. It is pretty expensive. I think it was like $30, but it's worth it. So now that I got that broke free, I should be able to just hit it. There we go. All right, there it is. So we're trying to get out. And then I guess I'm going to need a removal tool. Oh, nope. Looks like I should be able to wiggle mine off. There we go. Oops. So this is that big two-piece outer piece of steel with a rubber insulator in there, and then this center section. So I'm going to compare this with the other pulleys that I've got. I think I have two different options of what I can put on here. So here we have the, what I'll call the Type 2, or the later 93 through 95, I guess, Legend crankshaft pulley. Here we have the earlier ones, the 91 and 92s. And here we have an aftermarket one that was part of a group buy years ago. So this one definitely is heavy. And again, it's this kind of two-piece design. This one from the earlier Legends. It's lighter. It's a single piece, so you can see the difference here. This is all metal. There's no piece of rubber in here. There's no way for this to really break apart. And then this is a lightweight aluminum one that was made as part of a group buy. This was one of the ones, I can't remember who made these, but I guess they originally came, or when they were originally manufactured. I guess there was some metal here that interfered, and to make these work, they had to be sent back and shaved, which is why the anodizing doesn't appear on this section. But otherwise, this is a nice light one. So for fun, we are going to weigh these and see what kind of weight savings you can have. So first up is the later generation two-piece design. So that's 10 pounds 3.5 ounces for that one. Now if you take the earlier Legend one-piece design, 5 pounds, 8.3 ounces. So that's, you know, pretty close to half, I'd say. Pretty close to half of the weight. So that's going to be, just by itself, this is going to be an amazing even performance upgrade on top of just the fact that it won't come apart. And last is this aluminum one. Only 2 pounds, 0.5 ounces. So basically 2 pounds on the dot. So I guess I have a decision to make if I want to run an OEM pulley the earlier years, or if I want to do this aftermarket pulley. Decisions.